So Rex, how much is a Zoom subscription?
It's like money. I don't know. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Movement Maker Show. I'm Rex Williams.
And I'm Sean Genovese. Welcome to the COVID quarantine episode. As you can see, we've changed things up a little bit in more ways than one.
Well, hey, welcome to the show. And we have a new guest with us.
A very special guest that, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce. I think it's just more appropriate.
Yeah, why don't you, Sean?
Jeremiah Bonsmith, come on down.
Hey!
Everybody's live in their own studios today.
Yes. Right. The quarantine episode. Yeah, and well, we mix it up here. Well, everybody wants to know what everybody's doing because everybody's at home in their rooms.
Whether it's people they talk to on a regular basis or people from the not so distant past that they haven't heard from in a while. This is a great time, isn't it? Have you guys noticed? Isn't this a perfect excuse to start contacting people that you could have been talking to all this time, but now that we're in quarantine, we've been given an excuse, and now we actually do it.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, yeah, this is our Where Are They Now episode series, maybe. Sean Genovese, some of you don't know that Sean was a previous host. Now, that means you haven't gone and binge watched the early episodes of season 1 and season 2.
Did you just reduce me to previous host? I'd like to think I was a little bit more than a previous host.
What would you call it?
Co-founder.
Yes.
Founding host.
Founding host. Yes. Okay.
Father of the Movement Maker Show.
Yes. Yes, father.
I mean, look, hey,
Father
how many people have one of these, huh?
Well, a few of us. But
no.
You were the one. You were the mastermind.
Well, one of the masterminds anyway. No, I'm glad. I'm sorry that it took quarantine to get us back together, but I'm glad it happened. Thanks for having me back on the show that used to be mine.
Yeah, that's right.
How's it been going?
Well, we had a little hiatus, and it's not between seasons like we used to do. Well, we had a little hiccup. We've realized how genius your vision was for the show was that we didn't have budget for recording. For editing, I mean. For big productions. You were going to record live, we're going to capture live, and that was it. And we only do a little bit of editing on the ends. Well, our production stomachs were bigger than our editing eyes. Or wait,
no, I think it's the other way around. Yeah.
Our editing eyes were bigger than our stomachs, and we did this ultimate episode with lots of takes and different audio tracks for each person, and we were in the factory showing cool stuff, and it was awesome. But then
I tried to tell you, man. I tried to tell you.
We ran into some editing obstacles that required like professional help, and we
Yeah.
we realized.
See, yeah, you found out that there was
Amateurs.
there was a method to my madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We're here now. I'm kind of curious about how it's been going for you guys. I can share a little bit of how things are here. So I'm in California, for people that don't know.
yeah.
I'm in Southern
That's
California, where we've enjoyed 7 straight days of rain. So I feel like I'm back in the Pacific Northwest.
Come on back.
And I'm like you guys, still in the aerospace and defense industry. So even though the state of California has just doubled down actually on the safer at home orders, we are still considered a necessary infrastructure. So our operations have continued and look like they will continue, which is really interesting because a lot of the work that we do is classified. And so you can't really replicate a classified space in your home office. It's unfortunately one of those things where you got to be there. So I've got a team of, actually, let's see, all told, we got about 45 people now, and 2/3 of them or so are still having to report at some cadence, not necessarily every day like they were. But that's been interesting. It's been interesting getting people to really shift their thinking, even when you're working on classified work, getting people to really stop and think about, wait, do we actually need to be in the same room for this meeting, or could we do it via Skype? Staff meetings all now via Skype. Boardwalks, it took a long time for the production floor to realize we can probably find a different way to convey this information than gathering, 8, 10, 12 people together in close proximity to have a conversation on the shop floor.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. No, everything's different.
Now, are you guys furloughed, or are you still working?
Still working. Yeah. Yeah, up here in Seattle, all the office employees are primarily working from home, and the factory workers were given a couple of weeks of work, and then I think they're going to be furloughed for a bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, basically, they're not paying you anymore.
Right.
You can use your vacation and sick leave as much as you want. So
it's been really frustrating for me and for a lot of my team members, just because this is so unprecedented. Nobody knows what the heck they're doing. Nobody knows what to do. So there's been a lot of mixed messages, a lot of evolving messages and evolving guidance, and that's caused a lot of frustration. But at the end of the day, I am happy that we are considered critical and able to keep working. Because I'm sure you guys have some friends. Well, I mean, you got your mechanics that are going to be out. I have friends that work for Disney. They're going to be furloughed as of the 19th of April, and that's really hard. It's really hard. And then on top of it, you can't leave your house.
Yeah. It's crazy because we don't realize, like, everybody experience the same thing. We're kind of in our own little world, but half the world. I saw somewhere someone said 4 billion people are experiencing this, basically.
Anybody have stock in Zoom before all this started?
I wish.
Yeah. It's amazing how they became the de facto that everybody's using.
So I use a couple others too. I like Hangouts still. I like Google Hangouts.
Okay. And I read somewhere about House Party is one that's just random people can join it, and it's like a party.
And then what you can play games over the connection, I believe. I haven't done it yet. Heard of that one as well.
Jackbox TV is big too. Lots of people playing Jackbox games. Friends.
I think it's really fascinating. All of those types of technologies. I was telling my family the other day when I came home from my grueling day at the office in the room down the hall. It's really exciting, and I love being alive in this time where we got all these ones and zeros coming to the house, and all this infrastructure through the country that does allow us to work from home and to do things like this. I mean, we're 1,200 miles away from each other. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is really amazing. Like, I've been catching up with people I haven't talked to in a long time on video chat. I don't know what it was before all of this. All these things were available, like Google Duo, Hangout, Zoom.
Yeah.
It was all here, but I always thought of it as just, that's the thing you do for office meetings. Why would I do that with my friends outside of work? And something just switched, and everyone's doing it now. I'm seeing friends, video, but I'm seeing them more often than I did prior. Family too. My family's
right.
quite a ways away, and
Yeah.
getting my son up on a camera and having him walk around with the phone, pretty great.
I think part of it is that, we just never, we never set aside the time. We weren't, generally speaking, I don't think we were intentional about, hey, you know what, I'm going to call Mike, or I'm going to call, Aunt Shannon, or whatever the case is. And, now people have a lot more time on their hands. They've got the technology tools. Although it's interesting, I don't know if you guys have had this experience with some of your family members from a different generation, shall we say. He had an interesting experience trying to get my parents on Zoom. We have not been successful yet. My mom desperately wanted an iPad for Christmas because everybody that works in her office with her, they all have the iPads. So we got her an iPad, and we were going to do a call about 2 weeks ago. And we said, well, she was going to use her phone. We said, well, why don't you use the iPad? It's a bigger screen. You can see it. Well, okay, how do I do that? Well, just download Zoom. Oh, my gosh. She couldn't remember her passcode to get to the App Store. It was asking for her fingerprint, and I kid you not, guys, she's going, well, I don't know what finger to use. I can't. She's trying it with her index finger, and then my dad, we get on a Hangout call, and so my dad has the video from his phone showing us what she's doing to get the iPad to work. And, the iPad has the little button down at the bottom. Well, she's putting her finger on the little pop-up that said, we need your fingerprint. So she's trying to match where the fingerprint is on the screen. And then my sister got in on the call. And so she's giving direction and I'm giving direction. And finally, we all just ended up disconnecting and hang up.
Forget it, Grandma.
We're going back to the telephone. We'll get two cans and a string.
Yeah, it's a different world. And it's funny. It's like both, like digitally, we're reaching out like this, and we're spending more time with our family because they don't have anything else to do, and we're all stuck together. So we're playing a lot of tennis. I got 2 teenage kids, so kind of an even match. We're all different skill levels, but we can match up pretty good. And like, we've had great sunny weather, and the neighborhood is alive because everybody's out walking or washing their car or painting, doing some house projects. So I can walk around the neighborhood and get to know all the neighbors because we're all out there. So
at a 6-foot distance, of course.
Yes,
with
of
your
course.
mask on. I have never seen, so I live in an area that we have a lot of hills and trails, and so there's always people biking or jogging, but man, I've never seen quite so many people and families, which is really great,
right?
because you'll see mom, dad, and a couple of kids, and they're all walking together, which is awesome. Jeremiah, I'm curious, my kids, like Rex's, are a little bit older. They're out of the baby stage, but North is what, 2 years now, a year?
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. So what is that like with the quarantine and the social distancing? How has that changed how you parent a kid that small?
It mostly changes how much you get to parent. But I feel really privileged that our daycare is still open. So he's going to daycare, which allows me to work. But honestly, other than that, the only tough thing is we live in an apartment and we have like a small yard, but usually we go down the street to go to like the big playground for him to play, and we can't do that now. And so he's going a little nuts. So we bought him a tiny slide inside the house that he goes down, but it's just not the same, it's just not the same. So that's mostly where it's impacted us, is just you can't really get out. All the city parks in Seattle are going to close this weekend because the weather's going to be so good. They're just worried that too many people are going to get out and get into the park. So, we're just getting kind of cabin fever here sitting in our apartment.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's getting old.
Yeah. I am fortunate in that my wife is a credentialed teacher, so we haven't had to deal with some of the struggles that, like, some of my colleagues, they're having to work from home and homeschool their kids simultaneously, or now a lot of the schools here have started doing distance learning with the teachers, but still making sure that your student is up on time, the computer's available, they've got the video connection they need. They're not trying to do the fingerprint in the middle of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's hard to teenagers not wired, right? So yeah, they can't grade them down for not doing something. I guess you can, and they can't lower their grade, but they can raise their grade if they do more stuff. And my daughter, she's graduating and she's already accepted to college. So
where's she going?
She's going to Brigham Young University. She's gonna be a cougar.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So yeah, super excited. It's really hard to get in there.
I was on a call with the industry advisory board at one of our schools in California, and they were talking about how, all the universities, of course, are shut down. They've been doing remote learning now for many, many weeks. And the folks from the school made a point of saying, okay, well, we're maintaining all of the classes that we were going to offer, but we really want to emphasize to people that it's not the same experience. We can't possibly deliver the same experience. So please come back in the fall. That was kind of the underlying message, is no, there's value in coming to the brick and mortar campus. We're not giving people discounts, and we know it's not going to be as great of an experience, but come back and we'll give you the good experience later. It's like you kind of little two-faced there, you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth.
Yeah, that is funny. Yeah. No, she was going to start this summer, and it's going to be online, and we're thinking, well, you're going to go there and stay in the dorms and go and online? Why? It's not really the college experience. So yeah, she might not go. So.
Okay.
A experience for all of us in every way, and some of those, it's unfortunate for some of those milestones, like the graduating high school daughter that no prom, and but it will be interesting to see what kind of movements come out of this time. People got a lot of time on their hand, a lot of time to think, a lot of time to innovate. Rex and I need to actually take some action on an endeavor that we talked about over a year ago. So now's the time.
You bet. Yeah. Well, speaking of time, I think we're out of time for an episode. Too long already, but thanks, Sean, for being here. I'm glad we could have you on.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And hey, a shout out to all the people. Well, first of all my former colleagues at Boeing, but all the people that are still having to work in this environment, whether they're in our industry or the service industry, my brothers in law enforcement. Thank you to all those people. If you got any viewers that have family members that are in that industry, God bless you all, and stay safe.
Yeah, this is definitely pulling the weight for all of us. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
stay safe, and even in these quarantine times, go be a movement maker.
See you next time.
With you.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be hard. We can't get it.
I'll not sure what I'll do. I'll have to be a little clever here.
Or you could break it up somehow. You could break it up into small pieces.